not to get on the trust fund stuff, but I could have been a trust fund baby. So it was my great uncle. He was many uncles out, but his name was Ub Iwerks. Ub Iwerks and Walt Disney started Disney together. They were best friends in their early 20s, started it in South Dakota, and they moved to California, and Ub drew all of the first cartoons for Disney. Created Mickey Mouse, created Steamboat Willie, created like a lot of fundamentals of how animation works today.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't know this yet.
I'm surprised.
I've had Randy's told me about it.
Yeah. So anyway, he and Walt Disney literally created Disney Company, and it used to be like Iwerks Disney, and then it was Disney Iwerks, and like it always changed. But Walt was the businessman, Ub was the artist, and they grew it up. And eventually, later in the years, Ub thought he was making or doing more. Disney obviously thought he was doing more, and so Ub split from Disney, sold his entire shares of Disney for a ton of money back then, but all of it, and then started Iwerks Entertainment. And actually the Fargo Theater in Fargo, not the downtown one, but another one, was an Iwerks Theater. Iwerks Entertainment is still going.
Huh.
But he and Walt got in a fight, and he split from Disney.
You know what, though?
Damn.
No offense, Ub, but if Ub would have stayed on, I bet Disney wouldn't have been what Disney, you know, like everything happens for a reason, or like things, you know.
Yeah, you never really know if he
so
was
if
back.
he would have stayed on, if it would have turned into like the massive monopoly that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd
That's
say
actually
monopoly,
a pretty
but
good point. I wasn't thinking
I'd
that
say
at all. I was just
monopoly.
thinking, damn.
He
could have been with them.
I could have been.
He could have been
you
with
know, but think about it. If Disney would have never, you know, blossomed into the thing that it is,
Mm-hmm.
the conglomerate that it is, you know, how much would that have affected every other entertainment industry? We might not be sitting here right now having this conversation if Ub wouldn't have left.
Probably not, because probably he wouldn't have had the kids that he did and all the stuff. The family tree wouldn't have been the same.
You might not actually be here.
I know, but if I was here, dude, I would have been so rich. I would
Ryan
have
wouldn't be
had
here
that
right
Disney
now.
money, dude. I would have had that Disney money.
Ryan be sitting on a brand new boat floating around in the lake.
Yeah, in freaking
Drinking.
Ibiza. Would have been a yacht.
Yeah, he wouldn't be here. He'd be somewhere else.
Have you guys ever been to Disney World?
I
Yeah.
haven't.
Well, whatever one's in Florida.
Yeah, I've been there.
Dude, they've just done like such an insane job at like making all this content, right? But that just is all just a funnel into like the upper brand of Disney, because they have so much stuff. Like for these kids, they get, like my nieces love Disney movies, right? Well, then they go to Disney World. When they go to Disney World, they stay in a Disney resort.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to the actual Disney World. Then they eat at Disney restaurants and like
They buy the Disney products.
Disney products.
They
Like,
go on the Disney cruises.
yeah, it's truly insane. Just like
That's why when you were like, maybe I wouldn't call them a monopoly. I'm not saying that you were wrong for
They 100%
pulling that
are.
back. They're such a monopoly. And now that they own, I didn't realize they own Pixar. Like, you know, they just bought Star Wars, so that's Lucas. I didn't know that they own Marvel. Like, that's pretty much half of media today, in a sense, minus you as far as movies
It is
go.
pretty fascinating if you look at the history of Disney too, and like you look at the old pictures of Disney World being built,
Mhm.
and there's like so many little like Easter eggs or just hidden things. I'm pretty sure there's like an underground.
Yeah, the entire park has a labyrinth underground. So like characters, when they're done, they go underground and never have to be seen. Like a character, when it's not performing, you know, because they have people everywhere, never walks back to a thing. They go in a castle or a building, go underground, and then they can take their stuff off.
I mean, but think about the geniusness that was put forth to build something like that.
They're actually still not to the level that Walt imagined when he was like way back in the 50s. Like Walt imagined it to be crazier than it is today, and they're still working on that plan to make it cooler. But they've invented colors that the human eye doesn't pick up, so they can hide big buildings that you don't see. There's a certain color, it's called like go away green, but they did a big study and they figured out that there was a certain color that the human eye didn't notice. If you like put it in a room of stuff, that green just blended into everything else. And so they paint everything they don't want you to see that color. Like giant
What?
buildings, stuff like that. And you can look at a picture, you don't even notice the building unless they like point an arrow to it and they're like,
Yeah.
there it is.
Crazy.
It's not like a
Invisible.
giant optic. Yeah, it's not invisible, but it just your eye doesn't look at it. Your eye doesn't go to it.
How big is Disney World? Can you look up like
500 acres.
I thought they had like their own zip code.
They're their own government.
They're their own
Well, it's-
government.
I've been
They own so much land, they created a deal with the state of Florida. They're their own government there.
What?
right, which,
So they have to own more than 500
Yeah.
acres. 500 acres isn't that much.
but the way I've been looking recently, like
Disney World is 27,000 acres.
Okay.
Holy,
that
they
makes more sense.
definitely just Disney everything. They've been definitely acting like they're their own government.
How many square miles is that?
39 square miles.
They're so big that they're able to like hide things from us. They're able to steer us in a certain direction. They're able to, I don't know, like it feels slightly like a
Everything's
government.
done with
It just because it's
precision.
so big.
What do you mean
It's-
hide things from us?
They're able-
like paint them green?
Yeah, stuff like that, and like
No,
the
like-
underground stuff. But they're able to like if they don't want you to see something within the company, they have the power to do that. I'm sure a lot of companies do, but like they have just such an influence on such a large amount of people.
I feel like there's some sketchy shit that goes on.
That's
it's
what I'm
too
saying.
big of a company
It's
not to be wildly
So
corrupt.
big that it reminds me of the government because I think the government's like that too. Just corrupt, hiding things from you because they can, because they need to, because they think they need to.
I mean, they probably do. I think to a point, if all the information was just public, that would probably drive people more insane. You know, same thing with Disney. If all their information was public, probably would drive parents away from letting their kids watch a Disney movie.
100%.
That's pretty damn hard to do, though.